Today, we're diving into the book of 1 Thessalonians, a short but powerful letter packed with encouragement, hope, and clarity about the return of Jesus. This letter is written by Paul, along with Silas and Timothy, to the church in Thessalonica. These believers were young in their faith, facing persecution, and still learning how to follow Jesus in a world that pushed back. In chapter 1, Paul starts off with gratitude. He says the Thessalonians became imitators of us and of the Lord, even in the middle of suffering. That's in verse 6. Their faith became an example to believers everywhere, so much so that Paul didn't even need to tell people about them. Others were already talking. Chapter 2 reveals Paul's heart. He reminds them how he and his team didn't come with flattery or hidden motives. They shared not only the gospel, but their very lives, like a parent caring for their child. And just like Jesus warned in John chapter 15 verse 20, "If they persecuted me, they will persecute you also," Paul points out that they're enduring the same kind of suffering as the churches in Judea. Now in chapter 3, Paul talks about how he just couldn't bear not knowing how they were doing, so he sent Timothy to strengthen and encourage them in their faith. And the good news? Timothy reports back that they're standing firm. Paul is so encouraged that he literally says in verse 8, "Now we really live, since you are standing firm in the Lord." Chapter 4 brings a big shift. Paul talks about how to live to please God. He gives clear commands: avoid sexual immorality, love one another more and more, and live quietly and respectfully. But honestly, the most powerful part? The hope of Christ's return. In verses 13 through 18, Paul comforts them about those who have died. He says, "We do not grieve like the rest of mankind who have no hope." Why? Because Jesus died and rose again, and one day the Lord himself will come down from heaven, and the dead in Christ will rise first. Then we who are alive will meet the Lord in the air. This passage echoes John chapter 14 verse 3, where Jesus said, "I will come back and take you to be with me." In chapter 5, Paul reminds them that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. So be alert, be self-controlled, put on faith and love as a breastplate, and the hope of salvation as a helmet, just like Paul says in Ephesians chapter 6 verses 13 through 17, when talking about the armor of God. Paul ends the letter with rapid-fire instructions: respect your leaders, live in peace, encourage the faint-hearted, rejoice always, pray continually, and hold on to what is good. And finally, Paul leaves them and us with this blessing in chapter 5 verse 23. May God himself, the God of peace, sanctify you through and through. So what's the big takeaway from 1 Thessalonians? Live with hope, live with purpose, and live ready for the return of Jesus. If this encouraged you, make sure to like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more Bible-based videos. And hey, share this with someone who could use a little encouragement today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.